what's happening? What is going on? Happy Saturday afternoon to everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantabulous day. I don't even know what the hell that means. I just, just throwing shit out there. Alright, hope that's better. Yeah? Alright. Much better. That's better. Hey! Quit it! It's the second time. The second time we've gone through the up and down with the volume. So, momento, por favor. Momento. Because it doesn't seem to know that it does not tell me, I tell it. I told you to go down, you go down. You don't come back up. Okay. So, yeah, so I hope everybody had a good week. My week was, well, you guys saw a bits and pieces of the week for me. Yesterday, I kind of went against, and I said, hey, look, I'm done for the rest of the week, only because, and yes, I'm justifying it, I am. I continued to watch this week. I did some things in the practice account, in front of us here, or to my orientation, it would be my lower. It's like, do you know your left from your right? But how you're looking at me to my right. But yeah, so I was a little confounded Friday because I said some live streams back, like I usually get back home from work after there's been economic news or whatever at about 8:30. So I'm not here for that. Not here for the open unless I'm like really super lucky. Excuse me, and I'm able to escape work at a time that's gonna allow me to get back here like either just before the open, and typically it's like not that. It's usually before like that 6 a.m. 4-hour candle closes at 10, right? So I'd said early, and maybe I didn't say it like during a live stream. I know a couple of subscribers that have come through. We had, I guess you want to call it like a little powwow or whatnot, where we were just kind of online, and it, nothing like positional or anything, but just doing what we do, just speculating, right? Excuse me, based on just general information, right? The numbers, how the numbers would come out, and whatnot. And even from yesterday, because we did kind of do like a very interim or very short live stream yesterday, Globex for the open, or basically the Globex for Friday, which was Thursday night, I was actually just kind of looking at the market, and yes, we're on a daily, so I'm kind of just talking to you guys. If you hadn't noticed, based in the title, today's my birthday, so usually people are just like really whatever. I don't want to call it selfish. If it's your birthday, you should be able to do what the fuck you want, but I've just kind of gotten to the point where I'm kind of going to do that most of the time anyway, which is what the hell I want. So I was supposed to do this recap yesterday, was just kind of resting, and eventually, spent pretty much like the evening with my wife, and just spending some quality time together. So I figured out, go to work this morning and get back in, and we'll do it today. So just rapid chatting with you guys. So any of the well wishes, thank you. If they come, if they don't come, all good. It's all the same. So but just kind of talking we're kind of backing into this a little bit. So if we look at how our Friday closed, or if we're looking at the week in general, did the damn volume go back up again, or am I just like, what the hell is going on? All right. If it goes up again, it's getting turned off. It's going off. All right. So Friday of last week, right? And like literally to the tick, you could say. But this was Friday last week. So Monday opened with this gap all the way down. And, I had initially, I believe last week I said, as I had been saying, like bearish, right? We did get some bearish price action, not to the extent of what I was thinking, what I thought, I believe. What I had previously expressed was basically because of the soup at this level, we were looking at potentially a continuation down here, right? Didn't get that. So we ended up with the gap down. I think with the gap down, again, my thought process philosophy was, okay, we're already inside the gap down. We may come back up and do whatever fill, maybe have a mixed week. No, we have like a lot of economic news, which might have complicated the week, but as you can see, we didn't really have any kind of complication with the price delivery, because we had this volume imbalance, this gap here, because of how we opened last Sunday down here. We had a gap in here as well. So, you could say now, hindsight now, looking back a few weeks, basically says, okay, but when we had this gap here, and then the following day opened, like, what did we get? Okay, well, we got this rundown, the rejection, long. Okay, this week closed. What did we have this week? We had another gap down opening, and it's the same. So literally, you could say consecutive weeks in a row. Okay, it is. So I don't want to say it's not. It's neither here nor there. It is, but you don't know from week to week just based on the news. So we get a Monday low of the week. Before we know it's the low of the week. Tuesday opens. Obviously, we see Tuesday, for all intents and purposes, was, if you're just looking at it from a candle structure perspective, Tuesday was kind of like an indecisive. However, it would have given, if you were looking at this for maybe a directional bias, which honestly I wasn't. Anybody, again, I know hindsight, but anybody looking directional bias related, you would have essentially said the body open and closure was above Monday altogether. So, you could have taken, you could have sat and waited for price to come back up. We did get a Wednesday manipulation here. Excuse me, short. And then a continuation long. So Wednesday may have set you up for the rest of the week. But again, understanding the complexity of the news this week, all of the other crap that's been going on, you kind of, wouldn't have known. And since I'm going to talk about crap, we're just going to drop all the way down to the 5 minute. And we're going to talk about something that I mentioned yesterday morning, which I don't know. I was kind of, I still don't really know like what to think, right? So this candle here is our 8:30 a.m. candle. This move was based on non-farm payroll. So the numbers were, let me go back here because I don't want to misspeak. I want to tell you that the numbers were less than what the expectation was, which, let me go back. Sorry. So sorry. If it will let me, because I haven't done this for a minute. Yesterday. Wow, bro. They don't let you do it anymore. How about that? I'll have to go to the CME website. But basically, that's interesting. You used to be able to do that. At one point, you could go back and look at previous days' data from, and I usually go to my FX book, because a lot of times, like if I'm sitting in a position, especially when I was really big into currency trading, like I would just leave that up. And, you'd hear like the ping whenever the next report was published or made public, should I say. You could always hear it would ping, and anybody that's used my FX book, you kind of know how that works. It gives you like the little dialog box that'll pop up in the lower left, or however you have your screens and whatnot oriented. But yeah, it'll ping and it'll tell you like the number, the percentage or whatever it is will show up in green if it was positive, and if it's anticipated to go up, and if it's negative it'd be red. And that way you knew, right, based upon the number excuse me, and also what influence or what gravity or weight that report or that data was going to have on the overall underpinning of like the markets, right? So this was a surprise to me when I got back home yesterday, because I got home I guess, where were we at? I think we were in here. But the point that I guess that I'm getting to is, yes, we could see the snap here, but literally, like, it's not giving you, a directional anything. Now, had this opened, we saw a rejection because the number, like I said, the number was negative. So price should have dropped. And you could say, well, Jeremy, eventually it did. But for me, I'm looking at all of the movement was significantly after the fact, right? That's what used to, and maybe it's the changing of the time, who knows? Maybe I'm really, even though today's my birthday, like maybe I'm really telling my age. If I could say, there used to be a time where when NFP printed, you still, unless you were like you knew 100% what the hell you were doing, there would still be a time where by the time that the New York Open rolled around at 9:30, you still weren't taking a position, because there was no settlement after NFP. Like, that might carry about an hour or so, just depending upon the nature of the numbers and that continued volatility, right? So someone may argue and say, well, we didn't get the volatility until shortly after we opened, right? Another point could be, again, hindsight, looking back at it, you could almost look at this and say, well, looking at it now, y'all really, like, this was a T-ball setup. Again, I'd say, with a fair amount of just humility, this was like a T-ball setup, right? And the reason I say T-ball is, if you just go back and you look at pre-New York, even pre-8:30, you could do the same thing. I've made a couple of videos on the channel where I talk about what I was looking at, basically the Globex session or going into Asia, and I've said mark out buy sell side, and once both of those sides get run out, I've described them as manipulation buy and sell side levels. The reason I describe them that way is because that meant, like, once you ran out the original range, those were like your next potential targets to see, what liquidity is being sought or inefficiency, and if in fact you're going to be able to run the opposing side's liquidity from that manipulation range, if you will, right? I'm doing a Dr. Evil manipulation range. So that's why I say, like, this was a T-ball setup, You know, you didn't really have anything. All the price was compact in here, like literally all night. Everything was compact. You almost didn't care about anything back here. You're just looking at, okay, well, what's going on? NFP rolls around and it gives you this wick, and then you get this closure back inside. So somebody that's just looking could very well just say, okay, well, we ran out the high, so I guess we're running short. I had an area down here that I just marked out the night before that I was looking at, which was this area. Ooh, I forgot. I locked that to keep from messing stuff up. Not that. That. I'll just pull that back across. So yeah, there wasn't very much difference. So I tried to eyeball it over here as best I could. But yeah. So like I said, T-ball setup. You could have waited for it to clear and turn, and even if you wanted to again go back to one of the principles that I like to use, in some cases, not every, but in some cases, you could have looked at this even on this time frame, even on a 5-minute, and we've done it on a 5-minute. I've targeted 5-minute candle ranges. You've seen me do that. You could have treated this just like a candle range, which is what it is. 9:30 open, we run it out, and what are you waiting for? Like at this point, it's not even a soup, but you're gonna get the ingredients, albeit somewhat sloppy, okay? Because you'll get the initial purge, which is a high. This isn't really a low, but in terms of candlestick structure for this, it is. That's a higher high or a high within the threshold. And then we get this closure back inside. It does leave fair value, which I'm going to touch on here in a second. But you get this closure back inside. You may or may not have had the confidence to, if you're looking at this as a candle range, you could just simply said, hey, this is a closure. We open. You just put your stop up here. You're just targeting, you know, the low of the range. This area, I'm gonna lock this just so I can pull this over. This area here, I would look to see if, and I'll give you my outlook, what I think here, in a second. But I'm gonna be somewhat mindful of this area because I think we're gonna trade back up into this. Whether it is this coming week, but within, I would say within the next week or so. I know that there's been a lot of chatter that's caused market volatility to be bearish, right? So I guess, you know, my analysis is at the behest of individuals that speak and say things that are not overly positive for composite operators within the financial markets, that give them the confidence and the courage to speculate that the price of certain instruments and assets will be positive and go up. However, I would like to think, just based on technicals, that if the technical aspect prevails, we should see higher price, right? So my eye is immediately here on this area of fair value. But to go back to what we were talking about in terms of what I saw yesterday, I was actually looking at what at least appeared to be, until we got into this massive chop, right? Which I'm gonna share my Tradeify and everything with you so you can see how I made out with that on a week. But with this extreme move down, right, this started to look like it was trying to complete, like almost as if it was a market maker model. That's how I started seeing it. because like I said, I by the time I got home, we were already down here, and then I just kind of watched how price continued to came down, but in each one of these two, you could clearly see, and this isn't even hindsight, it's just anywhere you can see accumulation and how it's building liquidity, and then it's running that liquidity. It's building the liquidity, and then it runs the liquidity. So I was early, okay, because I took a position. Oh, good grief. Somewhere in here. But I was, as usual, I was early. But the context under which I took the position was I didn't anticipate price coming all the way back up here. I just didn't. And I was erring on the side that this here is essentially a 6 a.m. candle range. So I was leaning on this candle range structure from the 5th of February. And that was my bias for saying, hey, listen, if we get back inside February 5th's 6 a.m. candle range, based on the delivery, we should run this low. That was the only reason. But that almost didn't work out. It almost didn't work out for me, but I will show you, so you don't have to take my word for it. But same thing. We had to break down, but then we ran on, in this case, I would say we ran on about 80% of this liquidity, and then we dumped, right? We came back in. So what you see over is basically where we ended with price. I know this is like 55. So, yeah. So in here, I don't know how well you can see that, but make this a little bit bigger. So the candle range is still this yellow horizontal ray to this yellow horizontal ray. This is just another target that I was setting up because, as I just said a few minutes ago, I was trying to measure out if this is actually a market maker model coming down. That's why I just basically said it's a left side target, because obviously anybody that is familiar with market maker models, you're always going to have a left and a right side. You pretty much have that with anything, but specifically you can kind of see when you get to the bottom, there's a lot of accumulation, and that's usually how you're able to kind of sort. So I'm sharing that with you to say this is also why you see me looking for longs. So I would say at the outset for next week, when we open tomorrow, Globex, I don't want to say it because you're gonna be like, this motherfucker says he's short every week he's short, but I would be looking for the completion of this 6 a.m. 4-hour candle. So I would look to see that taken out, and at some point, if indeed this does turn out to be the left side of a market maker model, we could see a resumption long after a certain amount of mitigation and weak to strong hand transfers to allow higher price. So that's just that's my take, and that's what I would be looking for. So like I said, tomorrow at the open, I'm trying to think if I want to stream that or not. I'll let you guys know on the community tab. Maybe not, just to see how price opens. I would still be, curious to see about that. And beyond that, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so taking into the account So on Tradeify, and I didn't, again, just for clarity's sake, let me go into the details here so you can see that. I did not trade my Combine account at all. I stayed in my practice account for my Topstep Combine. So we're up 1,548. Yes, it's 4 trading days, but I've been kind of consistent / inconsistent. So first traded this account a week from yesterday, so January the 31st, and then I didn't touch it again until February the 4th, February the 5th. Both of those days were losses, and then yesterday traded. So we made 1,013 last Friday, not yesterday, but last Friday. And then we suffered back-to-back loss days. So the 4th we lost 285.44. The 5th I lost 416.36. And then yesterday 693.64 is what we ended up with. I'll take you into the journal here real quick as well, so that way you could see. So this is, as I just described, this is our two losing, or our 2 red days this week, and then this is our this is 2 trades. I did take 2 trades yesterday. One of them, technically, like I said, I took in the Globex hour, which was about $154.32. So that was the overnight session, and then the PM position that I took yesterday was 539.32. So that's where that 693.60 is coming from. That's what that is. So I mean, that's that full transparency for you there. So yeah, again, down basically, if you're looking at net for the week, we're negative for the week, but overall we're up in the account. So that is how that, as they say, cookie crumbles. And not sure that you care, but if we're looking in the Topstep PA or practice account, 2872.60 for the week. Don't ask me, because and I'm gonna be honest with you. This isn't in any way. It's not an over leveraged situation, because if you could zoom in and you could see this one contract, that's all I'm trading. Like, I'm not doing the whole let's load it up and see. I'm not doing it. One contract. Wednesday I took 1 trade. Thursday I took 3. Yesterday I did take 4. But if you look, and you don't even have to, really zoom to see, there was only 1 trade loss yesterday, and that was $360. That was $360. So, and I believe that was a Globex. That was overnight. Yeah, that was a position also overnight. Or not overnight, but it was Thursday night into Friday. That was a position that I took. I think that was either right after Asian Open, and I had price run against me a little bit, but I was short. But again, I was early, so didn't work out. But yeah, this will kind of be. I'm just going to leave it as it's just going to be an anomaly for me, because whatever. Right? Whatever. Maybe I need to start copy trading my combines from my practice account. I don't know. But, that's something for another time. But overall, I would say pretty decent on a week. No massive complaints. My bias, like I said, I'm just looking to see if this 4-hour completes, see if we get a move back long. I'll be looking for bullish price, and ultimately, as I said, I'll be also looking to see if this area of fair value is, I know it is of some significance. I'm not sure in terms of what role it will play if we do in fact see longs next week. It could be the platform under which price can get back above and continue to run, or it could literally just be a speed bump in which it's going to suppress price a little bit longer to accumulate, do whatever else it needs to do before either, continuing bullish or reversing and coming back bearish to, do some more downhill skiing. So, but let me know what your thoughts are. Leave some comments below, like the video, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm still gonna continue to look to see if we can kind of push the envelope when it comes to doing lives. I do sometimes like to do like the crypto on a weekend, because today is what it is. I'm gonna hop off of here and probably get in this rig, do some racing, just have some fun, enjoy the day, relax, do a little reflection, pay my my ultimate and my greatest respect to my mom, who's no longer here, because if not for her, and if not for the struggles that she faced during my childbirth and the sacrifice she made surrounding my childbirth, I wouldn't be here. So even though she's no longer with us, that is something that I've done for many years on my birthday, is not to celebrate it in the typical fashion, but to pay my respect and my eternal gratitude and thanks for a woman that showed and demonstrated, as I'd like to say all women, but I don't know, I can't speak for them, but when somebody talks about you're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, at that point it was potentially her life or mine or both during my birth. So she had to make a choice, and she chose me. And the way the universe had it planned out was, it was neither of us. And yeah, as I've said a couple times before, she was my very best friend in the entire fucking world. And yeah, wouldn't be the person that I am without her and my father. So yeah, that's it's something that gives me a great amount of pride when I have to think about that. And one of the things that kind of drives me, even in this space, to have the kind of attitude that I have. I love engaging with you guys when we're live and we're talking, and just be carefree, be yourself, not trying to be anything that I'm not, because it's enjoyable. So yeah, not gonna talk you guys and get you all in your feelings. Everybody's like, God damn it, man, this is not what this is supposed to be. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Like I said, I'll update the community tab in terms of when we do the live tomorrow. If it's going to be at the open, if it's a little later than the open, we'll figure that out. All right. But till then, I love you guys. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you some point tomorrow. Take care.